Happy Friday again, everybody. We have made it through another week, and it seems like we were just here.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. This whole week just seems like a blur because I've been extremely busy. And of course, as you could see, I'm by myself again, but I do have my bestie on the phone. Hopefully, she will be able to join us next week, as well as I'm going to have another guest on. Um, One of my friends from high school, she'll be joining next week, so that should be a lot of fun. But yes, so crazy week. A bunch of newborns in the studio and stuff, and I'm just completely exhausted. Um, my neck, my shoulders, like everything hurts. Um, what else? I'm just, I don't even know. I'm not even here. I don't know. But yeah, and so this weekend should be pretty easy. Just hoping for next weekend because that is a free weekend for me. It was supposed to be our girls' weekend, but we moved it to April. So, so just looking forward to that. But yes, so and yeah, Valentine's Day is Monday. So I don't know if you guys celebrate on Valentine's or you celebrate, beforehand or whatever. Um, Personally, I do not like to go anywhere on Valentine's Day because it is completely packed and stuff. And yeah, I prefer, you know, probably just having some pizza and yeah, that's my thing. Um, but of course, I would be probably cuddled up in my bed, probably eating some ice cream and watching like a good movie. So that would be my Valentine's Day. And I don't know about yours. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I was,
She's dozing off.
no, I'm not goofing off. Um, no, definitely. Valentine's Day. I've never been particularly one to be like wanting to always go out. And especially on that day, just because like it is a really hectic and busy day.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and so the past couple of years, it's just kind of been like, no, I think I'd rather just stay in. Um, but I mean, to me, honestly, Valentine's has just really kind of become another day. Um, just
Exactly.
another, just another day for me. Normally if I do celebrate Valentine's Day, it's normally either the weekend, of course, before the weekend before this. So this
Yes.
weekend, or it's like a couple of weekends afterward. Even probably during the week sometimes, just because um, I just don't like crowds very much or the traffic very much here in San Antonio. People drive like crazy. So um,
Yes.
hold on one moment. She's getting me my tea. Malena, come in. Okay. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of just basically kind of how it is for me. I don't like really going out on very much during the holiday, this
Yeah.
holiday.
Yes. That's, yeah, I don't either. I don't know if I did one time and I was just like, nope, never again. Yeah. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy, your Valentine's and stuff. I might maybe just watch a good movie with a hot guy in it. Maybe Chris Evans. Yes. That would be my Valentine's.
Me with Jason Momoa.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's single. He is single
I
again.
know. He is single.
Yep.
That is so
Single
true.
guys. Yummy. So yeah. We're gonna kind of pick off or pick up after, our little discussion last week about relationships. Gonna kind of continue on with that. but kind of add in a bunch of, not a bunch, but, just like two topics, because it does kind of tie in, together, which will be, breakups and cheating. So we're gonna talk about that. Um, Me personally, I believe I've only probably had just two breakups. I think. Yes, I think just two. Um, the other ones were just mostly like, me talking to a guy. And I don't even know what it was. And it was just like, I don't know. It always happened when I was talking to a guy and like the whole week was just like perfect and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if you remember, because of course at homes,
Yeah.
where the cafeteria is. Okay, so my high school, our high school, we had different buildings, but they weren't like normal buildings. They were circle buildings. And so so yeah, so one of the buildings was the cafeteria, and I'm guess probably like the right, if you're going around, like going towards, if you remember, like going towards like the gyms and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so it always happened right there. And where the guy that I was talking to would take me there and was like, Carolyn, like, you're like an awesome person, yada, yada, yada. But I just see us as friends. And so it always happened like that. It was always a good week and then boom. And so I was always kind of like amazed if I lasted, 2 weeks with somebody, but it
Mhm.
just never went that far. So yeah. Um, but then of course, junior year, yes, junior year, I think it was kind of close to the end of the school year. Um, we were doing a play, of course, Annie. Um, I was supposed to be Annie, and yeah, I had bad grades and stuff, so yeah, I had to turn down the part. So, and I wasn't even ready for that part yet. So yeah, um, but one of the guys, oh god, I don't know if he did something um with like the backgrounds or it was something, but I thought he was so completely like hot and shit. And so one of my good friends, or one of my best friends, he was like, oh no, you shouldn't go with him. You should go with his brother, which the brother was older. And so I was like, okay. So he kind of like fixed us up and stuff. And so that's with that guy Carlos. So
Uh-huh.
that was his name, Carlos. And so yeah, I mean we hit it off and everything. Um Gosh, you know I think I still have like his like love letters and stuff to me.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
really?
I swear to God, I think like I found them and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I would have thrown those away a long time ago. I would have
I,
burned them or whatever.
I don't even know why I even kept it. But yeah, and I think I have like still pictures of us or something. I don't know.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah, so he was,
Let go. Let go.
well, I think I don't even know where they are anymore. I don't know. They're probably in some box. I don't even know. But yeah. So he of course, a good looking guy and stuff. And yeah, he was very like religious and everything. And so it kind of like sucked because I cuss like a lot. And I'm like really, really bad. And so every time I wasn't around him, yes, I got to cuss and stuff. But when I was with him, just out of respect, it was, I didn't cuss at all. But but yeah, he would pick me up in his truck and we would go out and stuff. And, we had a very good, I felt a very good, relationship and everything. Um, Going into the summer, I believe he, I believe he did some camp or something. I don't know if it was like a swim camp or he something. And so I think it was for like a couple of weeks or something. And so of course, me missing him, whatever. There was one night and he called me that of course he got back and stuff like that. And it just kind of his voice sounded kind of a little bit off. And I was like, okay, something's not right. When you hear a guy's voice, you're like, okay,
Exactly.
something's wrong. So he asked if he could, take me out. I said, yeah, great and stuff. And it's our spot was, if you could, of course, if you can remember, it's off of Hebner. And so the movie theater's right there.
Oh yes,
I don't, is it AMC or
it's AMC.
okay, so that movie theaters, so across the movie theaters, there's like a shopping strip. So that was our hangout. We would always go there and stuff. And of course, they had the bookstore. Um, I don't know if it was Barnes and Nobles. I don't think it is anymore, but it's
No,
still.
it's not a Barnes and Nobles. There is a bookstore. Are you talking about the used bookstore?
I mean, it was big and it was kind of like on the
Oh, so
left
then it
side.
might be Barnes and Nobles.
I don't know. I don't know if they changed it or not. I'm not too sure because I haven't been in that area, in a while. But in between, kind of like the buildings, they made like benches and stuff. Really, really nice. Like little areas and stuff. And so, of course, he picked me up and he took me there. I don't remember if we had dinner or not. I can't remember, but I know he took me there and we were walking around and stuff. And he took me to one of those little, openings where they have the benches and everything. And of course, we sat down, and that's when he told me that of course it's not me, that it's him, that he's not ready for, like a real relationship and stuff. And of course, we're starting our senior year. And so
Mhm.
my thinking was, it was gonna be good. I'm starting my senior year with my a boyfriend and whatever. And yeah, so of course, being heartbroken and everything. I don't think I mean, of course I was crying. And
Aw.
I did. And so I think I told him just to take me home. You know, like yeah, just take me home. And I remember being in the car in his truck, and I'm looking out the window, and of course, I'm crying and whatever. And just to like put the damn knife, you know, in my chest, our freaking song comes on the radio. And
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, why? Like, God, do you like really hate me right now? Like,
Oh
it
my
was
god.
so horrible. And I'm just like, I think I turned it low or I turned it off or something like that. I don't know because I was just so like angry and stuff. And so yeah. I don't know if like if he gave me a hug afterwards or when he dropped me off or whatever. I don't know, but I was just like so heartbroken and I got home and of course I called my best friend. So my best friend at the time was a boy and so I called him and I was like he broke up with me. And
Oh
he's like,
no.
"What?" He was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Cuz he wasn't ready for a relationship." And he was like, "That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard." And I'm just like, "I don't know." But
Oh my god.
it was
So
pretty
now do you wish now do you like like do you wish that he had done it in a different way?
I okay, so with breakups, I feel like, you know, you should break up face to face. Just
Yes.
kind of like explaining, why it's not working out. And of course, it's painful. Of course, your heart's gonna be broken and stuff. And then you start
Yeah.
thinking like, did I do something wrong? Was it me? Is it something I should could have fixed or something,
Yeah.
you always ask yourself all these questions and stuff. And so, but I feel like, you should do it face to face. I know nowadays it's kind of like breaking up on
They,
Instagram or
yeah.
whatever
Or
damn.
through a text message, like now
Yes.
people don't even, or they, like they'll just ghost you and they'll block you and that's it. You don't hear anything anymore.
I
Um,
know.
and so you have to take that hit, and so, as hard as it was, I actually like applaud him. I mean, I think he could have been more truthful. That's probably where I would have said that, if he just wasn't interested, he should have said he just wasn't interested.
Exactly.
Not said,
Because,
"Oh, I'm not ready for a relationship," because more than likely he was probably like trying to get into somebody else, trying to be with somebody else, like and the next day or a week later.
yes,
You know.
which, of course, that did happen. And
Mhm.
so, a lot, I do have like those insecurities. I do have like, you know, if I'm with somebody, I feel like I'm not that good enough because once he broke up with me, once we started, our senior year and stuff, um, of course, he was on the yearbook committee. And so they had this, was it like a couple of weeks or something where they had where they would try to sell the yearbooks, but they were doing different themes. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. They would
Yeah.
do like fundraisers or like party. They would sell like food and stuff like that to gain, to get those funds. Remember?
Yes. And I
So
know
yeah,
they
I
would
do.
dress up and everything like that and stuff,
Yeah.
trying to sell, the yearbooks and
Mhm.
stuff. So I don't know like
Yep.
how long that lasted. I don't know if it was like a week or whatever. But,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, but I mean, of course he was involved in that. And well, of course I find out that he's talking to some other girl, tall. Yes, she was pretty. Of course she had big boobs and crap, and I'm just like, really? Like, what was it with me? Like, was I not, either pretty enough? Was I not like good enough and stuff? And it just sucked because she knew who I was, and yet she would like rub it in my face, like, oh, haha, I'm with him. Oh, he's talking to me, kind of thing. And I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, that's my sloppy second, so have at it. Like I give a fuck. I don't care. But I mean, it still hurt. And I remember um there was one evening, I think shoot. I don't know what it was, but I know I was coming out of choir, but it was an evening, and I don't know if we had rehearsal or it was something. I think so. I think it was rehearsal. I don't know if we were doing the Millennium Show. And so nobody was in the hallway, and it was just me. And of course, I'm constantly, yes, thinking about him, whatever. And then all of a sudden, he comes down the other way in the hallway, and I'm just like, oh God, just kill me now.
Oh
And he
no.
had like this big smile on his face looking at me, and I'm just like, oh, don't do that. Please don't fucking do that. Like, And so, of course, he said hi and stuff, and I said hi back, and, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing good. And, of course, yeah, we parted ways and stuff, um, but yeah, so that breakup, I mean, we only dated for 3 months, and yeah, but, he was the only boyfriend I had in high school. And so, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'm just like, eh.
Oh my god. Um. Yeah. No. I don't even. I'm trying to think honestly when I think about breakups. From school. Of course, the marriage. Of course, I broke. Um. How do I put this? I was the but I went through them so fast. I was very picky. There was something that I didn't like. There was something, um, and that's why I said I when he said he wasn't ready for a relationship, I used that before. So that's how I knew. So that's
I
pretty
use those
bad.
lines.
Yeah, I did use something like that, and so like I'm trying. I did have one guy that actually break up with me um, when I was in high or in actually I think it was middle school. I was still trying to be an adult because that's how I think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, here I'm thinking like I'm older, I can handle all of this stuff. Um, but there was this one guy, and I want to say it was probably middle school, end of middle school, and it was maybe like my third or fourth boyfriend that year.
Oh.
And so, yeah, that year. So, like, that's what I'm saying. I really just was not, I don't know. And I wouldn't even say like they were boyfriend and girlfriend. To me, at the time, consisted of holding hands and, of course, like, kissing. Um,
Yeah.
and of course, saying that, oh, that was my boyfriend. We're
Yeah.
going around.
Oh my god, I so remember that. Do you want to go around with me?
Around with me, I'm definitely showing my age. So it was kind of like that. And so I remember, like, I just was so very nitpicky. And so basically, to me, I would get, they weren't what I was looking for. And so this one boy, he was a good boy. He was like, a church going boy. He just had all around the characteristics that I liked. And I remember like being really excited, um, because this boy had actually picked or piqued my interest. It wasn't just his appearance. There was something behind that appearance. And I think that's what it was, is that these boys, like I would think that they were attractive, and then I would hear how dumb they sounded. Or I would hear how naive or just their mindset was, and I just would lose interest.
Yeah.
I just would lose complete interest. And so here was this boy that actually piqued my interest. He had a thought process. He had a mind. He wasn't just an all around like American boy. He was also, just, he was a churchgoer. You could tell he loved his family. You could tell like he loved his grandma. I think it was his grandmother. It wasn't his mother. So I wouldn't even say that he was a mama's boy.
Mm.
I think he was raised by his grandmother, and so he had like so much love for her. And I remember like thinking like, man, we could make something of this. This is really good. And I think it was maybe a week or two later. I think he finally came up to me and he was like, you know what, Angela, like I really do like you. I really do think you're beautiful. Um, he was like, but I want more. And I remember like feeling crushed because, I remember thinking to myself, like, here I'd been through all of these guys, and I have been looking for something specific. And of course I have found it, but this time, even though he was enough for me, I was not enough for him. And
Yeah.
so I remember kind of like, I don't think I would say that I was hurt because I really wasn't. Um, but I was disappointed. Like I remember being disappointed because I remember thinking, man, I can do, like we could do a lot. Like we could be really successful. Like, he do his thing, I do my thing, and, of course come together. Because that's always been the goal for me. It's like me still being able to be my individual self, but also have my person to go to when I needed them, or just kind of come together and just have that companionship. And so, um, I thought at that time, like, of course, I was ready for it. I thought, like, man, this is him, and it turned out I was not what he wanted. Um, and I remember I was kind of like disappointed, and I remember telling myself, well, not being upset, just really kind of disappointed. And so I
Yeah.
remember thinking to myself, like, dang, what am I going to do now? And like, I remember thinking, like, how am I going to handle that? So, yeah, I mean, that was like, I think the one boy that actually did kind of hurt me, or that he did kind of like, break up with me. Um, and the only thing I probably kind of wish that I probably had told him, and I remember after that, like, I remember thinking to myself, like, what should I have, like, I should have asked him, um, like, what was his interest? What had he been looking for?
Mm,
As far
yeah.
as like, I should have asked him. I wanted to ask him, but then after a while, I don't think I saw him again. And I think I saw him again in high school, but it was like for a brief moment, and then I never saw him again. So, like, I do remember that. Um, and I do remember that part. But other than that, I was probably the one that I'm the girl that you probably wished, uh, that you probably blamed, for hurting the guy that mistreated you afterward. Because I was pretty mean as a teenager, and I had a lot of boyfriends, like a lot of boyfriends, and like but I was just kind of going through them just because there was something I was looking for, and I couldn't find it. There was, to me, a lot of the stuff that I was seeing, it just didn't seem real to me at the
Yeah.
time. And so I would tell them flat out, like, you know what, and I would tell them, like, I try to always be honest with them, and I would tell them, I'm sorry, like, I'm losing interest, or I'm sorry, like, you know, like that one guy, I told him, like, I'm just not interested, like, I'm not ready for a relationship, and then 3 weeks later, or like a couple of weeks later, I was in another relationship, you know,
Yeah.
um, and so it was not like, it's just something that I was not, I could not push past, I guess you could say, and every guy that I kept coming up, and I would think, okay, then maybe this was like, the guy that's gonna keep my interest for longer than a week or two. Like, he's gonna, keep my interest. But then, like, it just wouldn't. Um, there was this really, really great guy, um, that I had been, dating, or that I wasn't even dating. I actually was dating his best friend. And his best friend was like a real big jerk to me. Actually, he's the man I spoke to y'all on the first episode about, the married man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yes, so he was yeah, I had been dating him, and he had been keeping my interest for a long for for a while, for more than a week or two. He had actually been keeping my interest for a while, but he was also very, um, how do I put it? Um, he was great when he wanted to be, and then he wasn't so great when he didn't feel like it.
Mm,
So it was a toxic relationship. It really
yeah.
was. Um, it really was a toxic relationship. Um, and of course, at the time, I was the girl that, um, that the girls would look for, or that I was popular, I guess you could say. And so, like all these boys had liked me, and one of them, it just happens to be his best friend, and he saw me one day like kind of upset because my ex-boyfriend had made a comment, and it just he had made a comment about my looks or something, and it was like really kind of deflated me a little bit. And I remember he ended up his best friend, instead of like being ugly, he actually walked with me. And I mean, it wasn't just me and him. I had my friends. I had like a group of friends that would follow whatever I did. And so I remember it was like all of us. It was me, and of course my friends, and him. And I was kind of wondering, like, why is he hanging around me if I have all my friends around me? Like, and it's his best friend that is the one that hurt me. And I kind of
Yeah.
remember thinking that. And, he was like, I'm so sorry, Angela, that you went through this. And, you know, um, like, I would never treat you like that. I would never do this and do that. And so, he was like, please, like, give me a try. And I remember that. He was like, please give me a try. And I was like, no. And I was like, no, I don't think that's like a good idea. I remember telling him, and then he was like, please, please, please. So I remember, like, okay. So I gave him a try. And I remember my ex, the married man, like getting upset, and he got hurt, and he did, I think made the comment. He reached out to his best friend, and he told him like, "Hey, take care of her," And I remember that because the new guy I was talking to, his best friend, was, he told me, he was like, "Yeah, he told me, to take care of you," and I told him not to worry about that I would do better than he did. And I didn't. I remember him saying that because I didn't like it, because I felt like a prize at the time. So
Yeah.
that's why I remember that comment. Um, and he meant it to like to make himself look good, and it did the opposite of what I wanted, or what he wanted, I guess. And so after that, it kind of deflated like the good guy status in my mind. And so I remember telling him, like, you know what, I don't think we're gonna work out. And he was like, I think it was like maybe a week. And I remember telling him, like, it's not going to work out. One, like, I tried to do it because you're a good guy, you're a great guy. I like you, but I don't like you in that, in the sense that I'm attracted to you. And, like, I think we make better friends than we do as a couple. And so I remember telling him that, and I remember, everybody coming up to me and telling me, how could you hurt him? How could you do that? Like, he's a great guy. You made him cry. Like, we caught him in the restroom crying. He just wants to be with you. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I can't. Like, I can't. And so, yeah, I was the opposite. I don't remember really getting my heart broken at the time, because I was too much of a hard ass. And it's just kind of like the stuff that I had kind of been through um, in my childhood, or how my childhood was. Um, and you know about that, Carolyn. And
Yeah.
so, it's just because of how my upbringing was, I really was a hard ass. And so I had no feelings when it came to breaking a guy's heart, like none. Of course, like, I learned my lesson. Of course, like, I did learn my lesson eventually, um, but it was something, to sit there and say that I was the hard ass. I was the mean one,
Yeah.
and when I was growing up. So yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah. I
It's not a really proud moment. Like, I laugh, but it's not really a proud moment. Like, for me it is, and not anymore. I don't. I think it was. I've always been kind of ashamed of it's what I did.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we were kids and stuff, and so, we go through things. I mean, shit, I went through, you know, I did things, middle school year. Of course, I wasn't living here, I was in McAllen. And so, like I did things and that I don't think my mom knows about. And, and yeah, I wouldn't say, um, I think I had just no, I think I had two boyfriends in middle school. Um One of them, I think it was either my 8th grade year or something. Um God, he was so handsome. Mine is like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like that bad boy kind of thing, or the skater type, that just kind of drew me in. Um but yeah, he was, of course, the apartments that I lived in were, in back of the shopping strip. And then, of course, in the shopping strip, they had a Peter Piper. So that was our hangout. We would always go there and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I think I asked him out or something. I don't even remember. Um, I probably think like, I mean, we didn't even probably break up because, yeah, I don't even remember that. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of my thing. I liked being in a relationship and stuff. I always wanted to be in a long, committed relationship, with somebody that, yes, that you get and stuff. I love a guy that could just make me laugh and that could be silly and just not give a shit about anything and, just have fun and whatever. And that, could open up and talk about things and stuff. That was my type of, guy and everything. I think there was just one incident that I was the one that let the guy down, but he was like my best friend. So of course in high school I had two
Yeah.
best friends. I had a best friend named Steven and one named Rudy. And I
Yeah.
believe it was our junior year. Me and Rudy were in the same grade. Steven was in the grade below us. And so we were in choir. And I remember it was probably after rehearsal or something, we walked to the mall. So where our high school is, across the highway, there's the mall. So we got to walk there. And so, we went, and I remember, Steven telling me that, he wanted to talk to me or something. And I was like, oh, okay. So, of course, we go to the food court and stuff. And he leaves us there by ourselves. And I'm like, okay, like, what's going on? And he was like, that I really like you. And I'm just like, you like me, or do you like me? I'm like, oh. And he was like I like you. And I go, honestly, I don't see you like that. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't see you like that. I see you like as a
Yeah.
brother. You're my best friend, and I just don't see it. And I don't want to say yes and lead you on and then later on, like, break your heart. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, your friendship means like more to me than anything. And like, he completely understood and stuff. Like, he was like cool with it and everything. So, but yeah. And then, um I think like another, I mean, I guess you could say another relationship. I guess you could say the one that kind of got away. Um and I it was also junior year. Of course, he was younger. He was a grade below, and we had speech together. And I was in the row next to where the wall is, and he was in the row on the left, and he was sitting in the back. And so, like, every time I would turn around, like, he was right there and stuff. And oh my god, like, yeah, I could just still hear his voice and stuff, like, in my head. And they were talking about some movie and stuff. And of course, me, having the guts and whatever, I turn around, I'm like, so you want to see that movie? And he was like, yeah, it looks pretty cool. And I was like, well, maybe we should see it together. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, maybe we should see it together, because I was trying to be smooth and stuff. And so, yeah, I asked him out. Um, of course, at the time, our parents had to drive us to the movie theater, and it was that same spot, off of Hebner, and yeah, like, oh my god, and he had a 6 pack. Holy shit, he did. Oh my god, and I remember that he kind of like did a little dance for me. I don't know, like it was like a strip teaser. I
Oh.
don't know what the fuck, but he lifted up his shirt, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my god. Sweet Jesus. you
Oh
know,
my god.
holy hell, yeah. But with him, it was, we talked. We talked for 6 months. I would call him, he would call me. It was like that. It was a pattern every single day. We would talk, after school into like the night and stuff. And of course, back then when we were kids, we had the home phone in the house. So it was kind of like, anybody that picked up the phone, I was like, Ma, get off!
Oh
I'm
my
on
god.
the
Yeah.
phone!
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh my god.
We're so freaking old. Holy shit. But yeah. And so, maybe that's why I don't like Valentine's, because, of course, Valentine's, um, well, of course, we were in school, and I was so excited. Like, I told my mom to take me to Walgreens and stuff because I wanted to buy him things and whatever. And I was, out there in the courtyard, and of course, we had, where the drop off was, it was a circle. And so I knew what car his parents drove. So every time, I see the car and I'm like, oh my God, there he is, there he is. I was so excited. And, he gets out of the car and everything. And, I go up to him and, was like, happy Valentine's, and, give him the bag. And he was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't get you anything. And I'm like, no, 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 it's okay, it's okay. It was just me. And like, I wanted to get you something. And of course, he was in ROTC. And
Uh-huh.
so I walked him, over there. And then again, it kind of seemed a little bit off. And I'm just like, huh, okay. And so I think it was science class. I don't know if it was that day or something. And one of his friends, who was also in ROTC, was sitting in back of me or something. And he was like, hey, did you know that Russell got back with his ex girlfriend? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, they got back together. And I'm like, no. Are you serious? And he was like, yeah. And so I don't know when, if I met up with him or something, and I just kind of like, you know, um, I can't even remember if I confronted him about it. And like he said yes and stuff. And I was just like, of course, heartbroken, because, here's a guy that I talked to for 6 months. We never held hands. We never kissed. We had these conversations. We had these conversations about getting married and having kids and stuff, and for all that just to go away. And so come like, the following year, still in junior high, or still junior year, that's when I was with Carlos. Out of the goddamn blue, he calls me, and he, like, asking how I was doing. I was doing good. He was like, telling me that he was sorry about everything that happened. I was like, don't worry about it. It's all right. And he was asking me if I had a boyfriend. And I was like, no, 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 I don't think he did. I think I think he asked if we could start over again. And for him, it was like, I guess, peer pressure from his friends. They wanted him to get back with his ex girlfriend because his ex girlfriend was also in ROTC. And so it was just so much pressure. All the guys were just like on him, on him. And so he's like, fine, whatever, and he did it. And so he was like, I shouldn't have listened to my friends. I shouldn't have done that. And I was like, "What it is, what it is, you know? And, you know, I'm sorry, but I'm with someone now." And he was like, and he's the only boy that told me, you know, I had something and I lost it. I had something good and I lost it. And so in that moment, I was like, I so just wanted to break up with Carlos and go with him because, you know, that connection we had with each other. And so, but I didn't. And then, of course, you know, that relationship ended. And yeah, so that moment, I did not see him at all. And then, of course, you know, after my husband passed and everything, there he goes. You know, I get a call out of the blue, and it's him, you know, sending his condolences and stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, my heart's like pounding and everything. And of course, getting extra money and stuff. I was doing that freaking Mary Kay, you know, selling that Mary
Yeah.
Kay crap because my friend was like, "Oh, you should do with me," blah blah blah. And I'm like, whatever, okay. And so I think it was that day. I think we had some meeting or whatever. So we went, and I told him after my meeting, I want to go. I want to see you. And he was like, okay. And so I called him or I texted him like, you know, I'm on my way, and he was like, okay. And so I go to his house and everything, or the apartments he lived at, and um, just like walking like to his building, and then of course he's coming out and stuff, and I was just like it was just back in high school again, you know, and he had this big smile on his face, and I was so freaking nervous. I was like shaking and stuff, and you know we were there talking and everything, and it just felt like at that moment I was like, if I say yes to him, you know, I'm gonna probably miss some opportunity later down in life, you know, if I take this
Yeah.
path. And and so, oh my god, I so wanted to fucking kiss him too. But I didn't. God dang it, I should have too. And so, yeah, that was the last time I ever saw him and stuff. And so, you know, of course, later in years and stuff, he always crossed my mind and everything. Um, and just wondering where that person or where he went and or what he's doing now and stuff like that. So of course there's, you know, people in our life, you know, that make a change and stuff, but it's the path that we choose, you know, and in which
Yeah.
direction that path goes. And so I always think that in my life, I've made, you know, I guess good choices and stuff to where I am right now. Because right now, I am like the most happiest right now. And so, you know, going through those guys and stuff lead me into where I am right now, you know.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so my God.
No, and you're completely right. Because I think, just exactly how I told you, like, everything that I did and how I treated those people or treated those men or those, not even men, boys, when I treated those boys, thinking, you know, kind of course, it was an internal struggle with myself, obviously, the reason why I was like going through so many of them, you know, and, but kind of like thinking too, just like if it wasn't, for that, I wouldn't have grown as much as I would have had I just continued on that, down that path. Like, or if I had just stayed with one person, I think I really, for myself, I feel like I did grow just because, I, of course, learned that my words, um, they affect people, you know, and like, to be just more cautious and careful with my words, be cautious in, what I'm looking for, and making sure that I don't intentionally hurt someone. And so that was my thing, like helping, that's what that kind of that type of situation, or that's kind of like, as growing up, that's what actually I learned. And so along the way, of course, things happen, but um, I did finally learn like what I do and what I say does have a power, like an effect on people, good and bad. So
Yeah, of
I don't know.
course.
I think it was good when you know, I wouldn't do it again, of course, but
Right?
I mean, it obviously got me where I needed to be.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I was telling, Anna, because my sister kind of made like a good point. I don't know if I said this. I think I did. I can't remember. My brain's like whatever. But it's, it's our paths, and if that's the person you're meant to be with and stuff, and you chose a different path, it just, I guess our souls or whatever just kind of split, and like some other freaking dimension or whatever, we're living that life with that person,
Yes.
kind of like the whole, I don't know.
I mean, not even that. I mean, it's just that too. I mean, um, I wouldn't kind of throw in the towel even that soon because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And so nobody knows what tomorrow's
Yeah.
going to bring, And so, um, in regards to your sister, that can still happen. It's still not out of the realm of possibility. It's not, you know. It just, it could end up happening.
Yeah, and I told
Um,
her too. I was like, because of course he's like my age, but
mhm.
she's gonna be 35, so it's like she's still young and stuff. So
Yeah, of
things can
course.
still
And they still
happen.
have all the time in the world,
Oh
honestly.
yeah.
Like, you know, and I know everybody, like, and that's the thing. I think we're a society that when we want something, we want it right then and there. And that goes for relationships. Like, we
Yes,
just
I want it
want it
right
right
now.
then. I don't have patience. You said you want to be with me, that's it, and that's kind of like our attitude. And the thing is that when it's something um, real and it's something that could potentially be good, then you want that time. You're gonna, you don't want to rush that time um, because then you have to think there's that possibility too. Just as it could be good, you could fail miserably and you could mess up. So, you know, I do feel like there is that possibility that she could still be with him, um, you know, or if you have this long lost interest, love interest, that they are going to make their way back to you. It's just fate, fate and destiny, you know. Um, Two souls that really are alike, they really, even as far as they may go, like it really is, they are gonna find each other one way or another. And I
Yeah.
really do believe that. And I think I'm a little bit of a romantic just because of, my situation, but I really do feel like that.
Oh
I really
yeah,
do.
I always believed in fate and having that soulmate and stuff. Always, and of course, like um, the movie Serendipity was on yesterday, and it's one of my favorites.
My
And
favorite movie.
yes, and it's about two people that kind of bump into each other and everything, and she's really big into fate and stuff, and kind of in the beginning, leaving it up to fate, and of course something happens where it wasn't the right time for them, and so all those years, you know, that they've been apart and stuff, and of course, he got into a relationship, she got into a relationship, he's getting married, she got, proposed to and stuff, but always they're thinking about each other. And it was up to them to start, okay, I need to find this person. This person, I'm meant to be with this person, I can't stop thinking about him. And so, when I was in my 20s, maybe, because I forgot what year it came out on. When I watched it, I always thought that, like, I'm gonna meet my soulmate like that. Like I'm gonna bump into him or he's just gonna come, you know. And yeah, you always, you know, how you meet your person is just, it's crazy how you can meet them. And just out of the blue, or just, some way, that it just happens. And,
It really does.
yeah, and so, once you do find that person, it's yeah. I mean, it could be hard because if you're, living apart and stuff, yes, that the patience come into play. And I have so much patience. I fucking do. I really do. But when it comes to something, yes, that I want, I'm just like, oh my God, it freaking kills me. It really does, because it's like, you know, you have the most shittiest days and you want that person with you, because
Of
it could
course.
just make it,
All that
great.
much better.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so, yeah, either that or you just want them near, and like you can't have it at that time. And
Yep.
so yeah, a lot of patience. So
A lot of patience.
a lot of patience, yes. And just kind of thinking positive. That's another thing, is thinking positive, because for me, I get a lot of thoughts in my head like, okay, well, what if this? Or what if that? Or what if, it doesn't end up like that? Or what if it ends up like this? It just goes in my head and stuff. And so, I'm trying to learn not to think so much and just kind of go with the flow and just
Yeah.
see where it goes. Like,
Yeah.
just hoping. And that's all you could do, is just hope for the best, because if that person
Yep.
really wants to be with you, they're going to make it happen. You got to put
Yep.
your trust in that person, and just, I guess, see where it goes,
Yeah.
So, but, with that, kind of sliding into the whole cheating thing, because of course we have gone through that. um, there is a poll that I want to do. And so I'm really, really hoping that I get people to comment and everything on what you guys think. So here is the question: can a man have sex with another female and still love his woman? Yes or no?
Ooh. Yes, I think they can.
Really?
I do. Because you got to take in count that there's not just monogamy or monogamous relationships nowadays. There's the poly side of relationships. And so a poly side, or there's even like open marriages. And so it's just whatever the communication means. Like, just as far as like what they have communicated, and if his, if he's being, you know, um, if he's going out there and he's, you know, shame on him, like if he's not really kind of saying anything type thing. But I'm not really kind of one to be like, I don't like judging, that.
Yes.
So, but I do feel like that, he should be talking to his wife, he should be telling. But you're saying the poll is that can a man have sex with another woman and still love his wife? Yes, that can happen because of the relationships. There's different types of relationships nowadays. There's diversity in them, and just based off of the communication between the two people, they can do that. And I actually saw a video of something like that, of where there was this couple and they love each other, but they decided they wanted an open relationship, an open marriage. And so, yes, the wife goes out and she goes, she's bisexual, and so she's having, love relationships or sex relationships with these females, and he's going out and he's having sex, and he even said it himself. Sex is just sex. It's still not going to take away the love that I have for my wife, and as long as we're sitting here and communicating, she knows what I'm doing, he knows what I'm like, he knows who I'm seeing, and vice versa. They're keeping that open communication, like they're keeping that open communication. It's not just, to be in a marriage or to be with somebody that you committed your love to doesn't necessarily mean sex. Like, that's all it is. Like, this gentleman, the way he was describing it was like, to him, it is sex. It's finding that fulfillment, not just, he doesn't need to get that from his wife that he loves. Do I agree with it? No, but it's like, I mean, everybody's different. So,
Well,
just
yeah.
based off
I
of what
mean,
you were talking.
yeah. I feel like no, like, I think that, if you're going to go out and have sex with somebody, it's just, it's a disrespect to who you're with. Um that's my way of thinking. Um Now, if you have a conversation with your significant other, like, oh, yes, we should have an open marriage or whatever and stuff. Yes, but I think this poll, it's, I think it has to do with, not talking to your person about it. I think it's, if this guy is going to go and have sex with another woman, is he still in love, with his significant other? Um, Now, I know with my ex, uh, he did say that he loved both of us. To me, I was like, no. I feel like you love her more than you love me. That was my thing. Because you kept doing it and doing it and doing it. Um, Now, of course, at that point, I just didn't have, those feelings and stuff. And, um, feelings for him anymore. But I think, and I'm kind of glad. I'm really, really glad that only one guy has ever cheated on me. you know, um, because yeah, I I never experienced that. Well, because I was of course hardly in relationships and stuff. Because yes, I'm very, very picky. It's just, yes, whoever catches my eye, you know, that's my thing. You need to catch my eye and stuff. And so I was just very, very picky and everything. And then of course, he was the only person that did cheat on me. And so yeah, you have to learn, like, I guess through mistakes and stuff, in of course relationships and whatever. And it is a very sucky feeling. But now here's another question. So I know I get, or I've seen it, either on TV shows, whatever and stuff, and I really don't get it. But you know, is it like, say your friend finds out like your partner is cheating? Do you wait, you know, do you tell your friend yourself, or do you wait until their significant other comes clean? And because a lot of that, the friend really doesn't tell, because it's like, oh, my friend's gonna get mad at me because I'm saying it, which I really don't understand why they would. I mean, I would want to know. I would want to know if, if you know something, you should tell me because you're my friend and stuff. Should
Yeah.
you get mad at your friend? No, you should get mad at the fucker that's cheating on you. you know?
Yeah.
Um, I was kind of grateful that my sister in law at the time and his ex girlfriend told me that he was cheating on me. And
Yeah.
so, of course, I was kind of like, well, thank you, for letting me know and stuff like that. And then I just went into the room and like cried my eyes out and stuff. But I didn't, yell at them or like, cuss at them, like whatever, you don't know what you're talking about, yada yada yada. It was
Yeah,
nothing
because
like that.
it was him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So do you
He's
feel
the one that opened the door to let that other person in. That's how it is. Like, he
yes.
was the other person that let that. He's the one. I mean, granted, like, of course, the girl too, but I mean, like, essentially, he's the one that actually opened the door.
Yes.
So,
He opened a lot of
so
doors.
no. Oh my god.
But yeah, do you feel like, like would you get mad at me? Like if I found out or whatever and I told you, would you get mad at me like, why are you fucking telling me this, blah 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 and stuff? Or would you be like, holy shit, oh, thank you and stuff?
No, I would definitely tell you thank you. You know, and but I probably too like would be like, okay, I need to like take a moment. I'm gonna,
Exactly.
I need to take a couple of days. You know,
Right.
you know,
See how I'm
know
gonna
how I'm
fucking
not.
kill him.
Yeah, like I need to take a couple of days. Kind of thing. And well, you kind of know what kind of happened, but I don't. You were not like there, but
Yeah.
yes. I would not be upset with you for telling me. And I've had the same incident, the second ex-husband, the infamous online date, date that I went on that I'll never do again. Um, he actually would cheat on me for a while. So he did do that. And so, of course, I could never fully, like, completely catch him in the act. I really didn't. And by the time I was, of course, married to him at the time. And so even trying to take legal action, like they told me literally, I had to literally catch him in bed with
Yes.
the woman. And so, and of course, I could never do that. Dating, if he was on dating websites, if he was on this or that, like I could not, like, um, legally, like, divorce them. Like they wouldn't see it as that.
Yeah.
And so it was mainly um, in how do you say it? Irreconcilable differences
Yes.
is I think is what it's called. And so so that's the way they would have put it. And so I do remember like telling my friend one time at the time like, oh my gosh, you know I found this number. I didn't find it. I went looking for it, obviously. I had gone in his phone. He had been asleep. And I had gone into his phone and I had seen a number that just did not look familiar. Um, and I remember I wrote it down, and I remember I hid like the little paper in, on my under my phone cover or whatever. And I had gone to work, and I had like wanted to like address him on that phone number, and I remember I had this really good friend that I would speak with, and she was like, "You seem like really preoccupied. Like, hey, what's going on?" And I remember telling her like, "Oh, I think he's cheating on me." And so she was like, "What?" And she was like, "How? Why do you think?" And I was like, "Well, I just found this number, and it's not one that I recognize, and like he put it like did put the female's name on there. I remember that, like he put her name on there, and I remember kind of um like I don't know who this is. Like I think he tried to say that it was like one of his cousins or something. Um, and then he put the name, and I was like, that number does like that name doesn't like sound familiar, and because his family was really close knit, and I knew practically, you know, all the aunts and uncles and cousins, and so I was like, this name doesn't look familiar, and so I remember like, telling her, and she's like, you know what, give me the number. You have the number, give it to me. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I'm gonna call. Like, I'll call. If it's a girl, Angela, like, I'll hang up and I'll call you back. And I was like, no, like, for real? And she's like, yeah. And so, yeah, a couple of minutes later, she's calling me back, and she was like, it's a girl. It is a girl. And Angela, she sounds like super ghetto. I remember her telling me that she sounds really ghetto. Um, she was like, she doesn't really sound like any good at all. And I was like, okay, well, thank you so much. And she was like, I know you would do the help. She told me, I know you would do the same for me. And so I remember I called the phone number,
Yeah.
and I remember the girl came on, and she was like, um, I remember when I called, she picked up, and the very first thing she said was, "What? What?" And I was like, "Who is this?" And she was like, "Well, you called me, And I remember kind of like her language, and I was like, "Oh, this, bitch, she's from the South Side."
Right? Oh,
She sounded
hell
like
no.
fucking ghetto. And so I remember, thinking to myself, like, there's like I hate to believe it, but there's some people that develop characteristics. Oh my gosh, I can't do it. Character like from where they were brought up, and so I remember
Yeah.
that like her lingo was just really like you could tell from the South Side, and I remember she was like, I told her, I said, who is this? I said, I found this number, and I'm trying to find out, like, how did you meet my husband? And she was like, she knew who I was talking about because she never once asked me, well, who is he? She never told me that.
Mm.
And so she was like, so she knew who I was, like she really did. And
Yeah.
I remember telling her, like just asking her, like, hey, can you please tell me how did you meet my husband? And she was like, well, why don't you fucking ask him, you know? And I was like, but I will ask him, but I'm asking you first. I said, you owe me that much. I'm not going to sit there and tell you shit because it's on him. I was like, but you do owe me that much. You can tell me. And so I remember, like, she was just kind of being really ugly, but she told me, of course, that they had met on, like, an online chat. And then she ended up hanging up. She didn't tell me shit. And so, like, after that, but it was just so freaking ghetto. And if it hadn't have been for my friend, like, sitting there and giving me that support, like, I probably would have, like, let it go. I probably would have let it go. Um, and I did for the moment, did leave it, let it go at the moment. It was a mistake of mine. Um, but I couldn't figure out, like, other than, of course, talking to somebody, I still didn't confirm if they had even met in person, if they had done anything. Like, I didn't confirm any of that because she was being nasty and she was being ugly. Um, and so I remember even talking to him, and of course, I did talk to him that night. And I remember he like denied it. He
Of
denied it and denied
course.
it until I told him like her name, and I was like, "You're not going to tell me, it's so and so." And his eyes just got wide. And his thing was, well, that he just needed to talk to somebody. And I was like, I'm your wife. Like, I get that you need to talk to somebody, but find a fucking therapist, talk to me, or go find a freaking your cousins or your buddies or a priest. You don't go to another woman. So I do remember that.
Yeah. That is the most.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most stupidest thing that, you got caught, so just own up to your shit, Like, don't try to sweep it under the rug or, like, oh, you're crazy and stuff like that. Like, no, it's not going to work. And it's so crazy because, like, with my sister and her ex, and of course, she was pregnant with Amara. And
Yeah.
you don't know how many times, I think it was probably 2 times, two, that I got into it with the damn bitch that, he was talking to. There was one
Yeah.
incident, of course, my sister's pregnant and stuff. And it was at his apartment, and
Mhm.
they're there and stuff. Of course, I'm standing next to my sister, and they're there, arguing or whatever and stuff. And this goddamn chick, ugly ass chick, comes out of his freaking apartment, leans on the railing like she's like the shit or something. And I'm just looking at her and I'm like, oh, this bitch, oh,
Yeah.
oh. And so she starts going after my sister, like, running her damn mouth. And I'm over there like, you better shut the hell up or I'm going to go up there and make you shut up. And she kept on. And I swear to God, I was going up the stairs, and he was like, no, you need to go back inside. Go back inside. I was like, oh, hell no, you're not going to threaten my sister? No. And so that was that incident. And then, of course, another one, he met some damn girl, whatever. And I, I believe that girl either called my sister or my sister called her just to find out and stuff. And, that girl was running her mouth. And I'm there, like listening to this shit. And I'm just like, what the? I took the phone out of my sister's hand and no, no, no. I don't think I did. I was there yelling at the chick while my sister's like there, like holding the phone and stuff. And I'm like laying into this bitch. So it's like, yeah, anybody, if it's with you, if it's with my sisters, like I got your back, because nobody is gonna talk to my friends or my family like that. Like, I mean, shit, I'm strapped. Like, I will, I will cut a
Let's go
bitch.
hide a body.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, do not test me. And yeah, cause yes, I have a very bad temper when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And so,
No.
yeah, just, God, I'm just glad that she's just, not with him anymore. She's just more, focused and stuff. And yeah, and the thing is that, he never supported her in her music and everything. He always thought that it was just a hobby and stuff. And I'm just like,
Oh.
are you freaking kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
you want that person to support you in
Of
whatever you're
course.
doing, you know?
Exactly.
And I'm like, one of like a big band and just a girl band, they opened up for them, my
Yeah.
sisters. And so
I
that's
remember.
like, yeah, I mean, that's like a big accomplishment. You still have people wanting my sisters to still perform and shit, you know? And so, um, and yeah, I'm very, very proud of them and what they want to do and continue on doing and stuff. And yeah, it just really sucks that the person that you're with doesn't support you, just thinks it's just a hobby, like you should just get a job, you know, and do the whole 9 to 5 type of thing. Is that going to make you happy? No, it's not. Doing what
No.
you love is going to make you happy, you know,
Exactly.
and having someone there to support you and stuff, that's going to make you fucking happy, you know.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, I mean, cheating and breakups and stuff. Yeah.
I would just say, like, and I always used to tell. I remember I always used to tell my second ex husband, it's like, if you're not happy, you're not happy. And I was like, there's no reason to continue a relationship if you're not happy. Because
Exactly.
ultimately, what ends up happening is you end up like resenting the person that you're with when all you had to do was sit there and say something and and make that comment that, hey, you know what, I'm not happy. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It does not mean that you're not going to be okay, or that that person that you choose not to be with, or don't, that you're not happy with, is not going to be okay. It
Yeah.
may hurt for a little bit, but you know what, in the long run, it's better for both of y'all. And so I remember I used to tell him, like, like, if you're not happy, like go your separate way. And so, um, and so I remember like um, telling him like, trust me, I'd rather you tell me than me find out another way. And I did. I know every single time that I did allow it, and that I did find out that he was doing something. I would tell him like, why can't you just like let me go already? Because to this point, like he of course did it. It was the narcissistic side, of him. It was that it wasn't love that was holding him to me. It was his need for control. Um, and so that's what was holding me to him. He wanted to control. And so, um, and so that's what it was. And so he wouldn't let me go. And I remember telling him, like, we're not right for each other. You don't love me. You think you love me, but you don't love me,
Yeah.
and I said, you need to stop lying to yourself and like realize that we're better off apart. And so, like, I would tell him, like, I just want you to be happy, and if it's not with me, it's not with me. And I remember having those conversations with him, and he would just kind of stay quiet. And so, if anything, like, all I say is that if, even before you step outside of, the relationship, definitely say something, or, um, because in the long term, no matter what, y'all are going to hurt. But I can guarantee that that's probably you speaking up and communicating is going to be the lesser of the hurt than all the years of you trying to be in a relationship that you have no business being in, and all of that, all of those habits and all of that trauma that you put yourself through, as well as that other person, y'all could have avoided. And the healing process is so much easier and faster if you're just honest and upfront instead of going outside of the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I just would always tell him, and I remember because I've been on both sides, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
as far as like be breaking somebody's heart and the breakup and all of that, like just feeling like that I would hurt somebody. So, like, to sit there and say, you know, would I make those mistakes again? No, I wouldn't, because I don't want to intentionally hurt someone ever again the way I did when I broke those boys' hearts. Like, I won't.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I feel like, yeah, I mean, you have to be, honest and stuff with, with the person and everything. And yeah, I mean, if it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out. If, there is problems and stuff, you do need to be vocal and, of course, communication and everything. And if it's not going to, if you're not going to change, then, then that's it. I
yeah.
mean, it's not gonna get where it needs to be, and so
Uh-huh.
yeah. But I think there's always like a right time for everything, that happens and stuff. But you know, that's the way life is, and
Yeah.
how relationships go, and you know, and stuff like that. So, but we did almost hit an hour and a half, and that is kind of the goal. Kind of the goal. So, gonna leave it off on that note. With the whole cheating and stuff, what's the point?
Yeah.
If you're not feeling it with your person, you should get out of it and not dig yourself a bigger hole. With breakups, hey, we all been there. We get our heart broken and stuff, and it's either for the best because someone else is waiting in the wings, or it is what it is. You should just be happy and stuff. Always be happy with yourself. Put yourself first, and then don't go looking for anything. It will always come to you, and
Yeah.
it is at least your, what is that saying, like at your, the least, or you expect, or something, you least expect it. There you go. You least expect it, it
Yeah.
always comes to you and stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you look for it, it's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
if you don't look for it, it happens. So it goes either way. But yeah. So that is our Friday. Um, I'm like freaking hungry.
Me too.
I'm hungry and I'm so
I'm,
tired.
yeah, I'm very exhausted. I'm still like recuperating from the COVID, so of course, like everything, I went back to work. This was my first full week back at work, and it kicked my ass big time.
Oh
So
yeah.
you know, I'm exhausted. I'm like past exhaustion.
Oh
So
yeah. I totally feel you. Of course, yes, my job is it's fun, but it's very tiring, I mean, I do get to cuddle babies all day and every day. But it is exhausting and stuff. But yeah, and then of course this weekend, uh of course it's gonna be okay and everything. The weather tomorrow is supposed to be cold and windy, and I think rain. I don't know. Uh, Whatever. But yeah. So I think I had to reschedule some people and stuff. So um, which is
uh,
always kind of good
yeah,
because it means I have less sessions. So but yeah, I'm gonna probably set up the studio right now, and that I don't have to mess with it in the morning, because yes, I do have an early session in the morning. So probably be going to sleep early tonight, and just, yeah, because last night, holy crap, I was out to the point that I was freaking drooling like a river. I was so tired.
oh
It
my
was
god.
so gross.
Uh,
I woke up and I'm like, ew.
oh no.
Yeah. So it's not a pretty sight with me. So, but yeah. So I hope you guys had an amazing week. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And of course, you will see me again next week, along with my bestie and another friend of mine. So always happy and excited to bring on new people. And so just to get a take on everything. So um I'm pretty sure this weekend, and of course this week coming up, we'll probably discuss on what topic to talk about, because I have no freaking idea what we're gonna talk about. But of course we'll have a new topic next week, and so yeah. So enjoy your guys' night. Enjoy Valentine's Day with your loved one and stuff. And we will see you next week. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.